Koby Altman made a great trade with the Utah Jazz a few years ago. He sent Colin Sexton, Lauri Markkanen, picks, and a little bit more to the Utah Jazz for Donovan Mitchell. This trade, as time goes on, looks more and more like a robbery for Altman and the Cavaliers. Hey everybody, Billy BB back with you on Cavs Digest. The night after a tough loss for the Cavs. I don't know what happened. They give up 132 points to the Embiidless Sixers in Philly. Donovan Mitchell, 0 points for the second straight game in the fourth quarter. I don't know what's going on there. They're going to have to get that corrected, fix. We'll monitor that. They are now 3-4 in their last 7 games, which we have not seen yet this season. No panic for me, but we will keep an eye on that. Great opportunity to subscribe, to follow Cavs Digest, because we'll watch those games. We'll figure out what's going on. We'll play comments, videos from the players and coaches, and we'll get that settled. So go ahead and subscribe. Today, drop down in the comment. This is kind of a rejoice episode. This is kind of an episode where we're discussing something you may not have noticed or that may have gone by you kind of quickly. But this is a great thing for the Cavaliers. We're going to talk about how they really robbed the Utah Jazz and got away with a really good take in a trade with Utah. So we're going to dive into that today. So be sure to subscribe, be sure to comment, and see if you agree, if you disagree, whatever it is. Go ahead and do so. So as I said, Koby Altman made the trade a few years ago with the Utah Jazz. The Cavs were pretty good. They did the play-in, and they had this really exciting season. And Altman made the decision to trade for Donovan Mitchell, right? I think we're all pretty familiar with it. The Cavs had some all-stars in Garland and Allen, but it felt like they could get better. They were just a play-in team, and they didn't even get to the actual playoffs because they lost their play-in games. Colin Sexton had a knee injury, and they had just gotten Lauri Markkanen in a trade with Larry Nance. And, they had made a lot of moves and finally come out of a despair post-LeBron to be looking okay, and things were kind of going their way. So Altman takes a huge swing and gets Donovan Mitchell. Now, he was guaranteed a few years of Mitchell, but it was known he wanted to go to the Knicks and to the Nets. But if you look again, Cavaliers give up Colin Sexton, Lauri Markkanen, Ochai Agbaji, 3 unprotected firsts, and 2 pick swaps to the Jazz for Donovan Mitchell. I think we all can agree the first kind of victory of this is Donovan Mitchell, right? Even if all those things really panned out for the Jazz and made them even contenders now, Donovan Mitchell has solidified the Cavaliers as a playoff team, right? They have not been a play-in team since then. They have been floating around a 4 seed twice in a row, and then it looks like this year they could be even higher, a 1 or 2 seed. And then he has been a representative in the All-Star game, in the MVP talks, in the stats, in all of that for multiple years now. So the Donovan Mitchell aspect of this is a W for Koby Altman, getting Donovan Mitchell. And then, of course, you get him to re-sign, right? So he's happy in Cleveland. He likes Cleveland. That's a big part of it I probably shouldn't skip by, is he is now re-signed for a few more years. Looks like you're going to get about 5 years of Donovan Mitchell, no matter what they do here coming up. So going back to the trade, Colin Sexton, I was never a Colin Sexton fan. I thought Cavs fans, he was a fan favorite. They very much overvalued. He was a good player on a bad team, which made him look better than what he was. And I think it has become more clear he has not gotten better than that. Okay? So is he a bad NBA player? No. But Colin Sexton has not gotten any better in Utah than when he left Cleveland. He just hasn't. As for Markkanen, he's had some great moments. He was awesome here. But, again, this duo, these two, have not made the Jazz better. Markkanen has not taken a step up to be a consistent all-star, to be a great shooter, to get his team to the playoffs. This is a bad Jazz team. They are now looking at going for Cooper Flag, and they're looking at going even to the next year to try and get the number 1 overall pick. Which that prospect looks to be a big deal too. So, and then you want to talk about trade value of these guys, right? A million times I think I've heard, some team's going to trade and make Colin Sexton a 6-man. Colin Sexton's going to be awesome as a 6-man and blah, blah. It hasn't happened. Probably because they're asking too much, and other teams know the value of Colin Sexton. They're not going to give it up for him. So the Cavaliers got rid of this blank mediocre, right where he is asset to the Jazz, and same with Markkanen. How many times have we heard this team's going to go after Lauri Markkanen? The Lakers, I've heard it a million times. Can't get him. His contract's too big, and they're probably asking too much of him because they value him too much as opposed to what other teams value him at. So the Sexton and Markkanen piece of this, I think the Cavaliers did the right thing. They didn't bank on those guys coming back and the Cavs would get better and they'd have better chemistry and those guys would vault forward. They were okay partying with Sexton, partying with Markkanen. You can drop down in the comments. Let me know what you thought about Collin Sexton. I personally knew him for what he was, and that's a decent player on a bad team, which makes him look pretty good. Markkanen, I also thought peaked here. I thought what he was doing was just not going to last. So Ochai Agbaji, who was the Cavs' first-round pick that they selected, he is on another team now. He's not sticking in the NBA. So, again, that's a dub for Koby Altman, I guess. I mean, he picked him, but, again, it doesn't look bad that he parted with Ochai Agbaji. Now for the final part of this. We just saw this trade last week. The Jazz take both Minnesota picks and the Cavs picks and package them together. They protect them a little bit. They were unprotected when the Cavs traded them, but they mesh them together. They trade them to the Phoenix Suns for the Phoenix Suns 2031 unprotected first-round pick. What's the big deal, you may ask? Why does that matter to the Cavaliers? On paper, transactionally, whatever, it doesn't mean much. What it does mean is the Jazz determined that Cavs in 2031 are going to be good. The Cavs have a future. The Cavs in the next few years are going to be relevant. They're going to be competing. So they need to take those picks and trade them for a team they don't think will be. And that's the Phoenix Suns. That's why they did that. Now, you can argue, look, the Suns are already kind of old and we're seeing them already struggle. And yeah, that's part of it. But they determined those picks that they got from the Cavaliers aren't worth anything to them. That they're not going to be worse than what the Phoenix Suns could be in 2031. And again, I think it's funny, we mentioned the Cavs, the 2031 pick as an asset, and everybody had kind of said, well, that's crazy. Why would they trade that? And here's the Suns. When you're a competitor, you'll trade that for anything you can get. And for Phoenix, they trade that to get a few more picks to possibly either make a trade or rebuild that roster up a little bit, even with some late first rounders. So shout out Koby Altman. He robbed the Jazz. I mean, he got a top 10 player in the NBA. The guys he did give away aren't panning out how anybody thought they would. The Jazz, or maybe even Altman thought Sexton could level up. Maybe he didn't. I don't know. And then the picks, along with Ochai Agbaji, look to be not much there for them. Ochai Agbaji's on a different team now, and the Cavaliers picks, certainly they are valuing them to be worse than a Phoenix Suns pick. Multiple Cavs picks, by the way, over the next few years. So it is a complete robbery for the Cavaliers. Another victory trade. What do you think of Koby Altman? You got the Allen trade. He did that. The remake in 2018 the Cavaliers needed at the deadline. And then you've got trades like this as he continues to kind of pan out as a really good GM. We'll talk about it more and into the future here on Cavs Digest.